Hi, this is Splish and I hope you've had a good start of the year of 2022. I decided to check out how Call of Duty World War II is doing in the beginning here of 2022, especially since it was developed by Sledgehammer Games with help from Raven Software, the same developers that made Call of Duty Vanguard, which is now the current Call of Duty game. Yes, World War II was Sledgehammer Games' first World War II game, the second World War II game in the series of Call of Duty since World at War was released in 2008 and the 14th installment in the series. It was released 5 years ago, meaning in 2017. It was, as always, published by Activision and released on PS4, Xbox One and PC, and I'm playing on PC. The game's campaign was set in the European theater and is following the 1st Infantry Division and their battles on the Western Front, and set mainly in the historical events of Operation Overlord. In the campaign, your squad mates could supply you with extra ammunition, health or grenades, etc. To be honest with you, I don't remember so much when it comes to the campaign, so if anyone has an impression from playing it, please share it in the comments. Sledgehammer Games choose to include atrocities and Nazi concentration camps in the campaign story to deliver an authentic war story. This authenticism has been partly taken away with their current title, Call of Duty Vanguard, if you think about it. But as always, the most interesting part for most people at least is the multiplayer in a Call of Duty game. There were new features in the multiplayer, such as a division system that replaced the previous create a class system from previous games. There's also a social hub called Headquarters in the game, allowing for players to interact with each other. The World War II multiplayer was back to boot on the ground concept and gameplay. In the division system that replaced the regular class system, you could choose 1 out of 5, later 8 divisions, each with their own different basic combat training, division training and weapon skills. Players need to progress through ranks in divisions in order to use additional perks, in addition to a global perk system named Basic Training. This was an interesting take on a new kind of class system, although Sledgehammer Games later on made an overhaul to the division system, which included massive changes to the meta of the system. I'm a bit of an old dog in the Call of Duty series, so I think I prefer the old class system at the end of the day. Let me know also here what you thought about the division system. Headquarters acts like a social space in the game where up to 48 players can take part in various activities, such as watching other players opening their loot boxes, for example. A new game mode was introduced called War, which is a narrative-driven multiplayer game mode developed in partnership with Raven Software. In War, 2 teams of 6 players perform objectives as either the Allied or Axis faction, inspired by some of the iconic World War II battles, such as storming Normandy on D-Day as the Allied, or defending the Normandy bunker as the Axis in the map Operation Neptune. This was a fresh take, although I do remember that there were some choke points here and there on some of the maps and that it was quite a linear experience overall. But as always, all game modes aren't for everyone. Zombies has to be mentioned, of course, although it's something I personally don't play that often. In World War II Zombies, a class system is introduced and where players can opt for 1 of 4 combat roles: offense, control, medic and support, which provide different in-game abilities. Class loadouts are also included, with equipable Raven mods, which are perks similar to the multiplayer mode. Sledgehammer Games also attempted to rationalize some of the popular mechanics from previous games. Okay, but how is the game, and especially the multiplayer as you're watching here? Well, I didn't play World War II as much as I did play some of the previous Call of Duty titles. One of the reasons, if I remember it correctly, was bad performance and optimization. Something that became better down the line. That in combination with the fact that I didn't have as good pieces set up back then as I have now. Sledgehammer Games also continued to tweak the game, which probably made the game better about like 6 months or even a year after release. In a way a pity, since a new Call of Duty title was already released at that point of time, as always. Both Call of Duty World War II and Call of Duty Vanguard has a lot of similarities, of course, both being set in World War II and developed by Sledgehammer Games. The graphics and therefore the look of the game is quite similar, although Sledgehammer Games this time around when it comes to Vanguard choose to use the Modern Warfare 2019 engine. But it's pretty clear for me, coming back to World War II now in 2022, that it's a far more polished and finished game in many ways compared to Vanguard. Something that should be a reminder for Sledgehammer Games to put in the same effort in Vanguard in order to reach its full potential. Playing the World War II shipment version was quite pleasant compared to the chaotic experience you at the moment get when you're playing the shipment map in Vanguard with all this version of incendiary nades that's getting spammed all over the map. The movement also feels a bit slower in World War II, or actually slower, which I prefer. It gives a kind of a nicer pace in my book of the gameplay, and the overall map design is also better in World War II than in Vanguard. Not all maps, of course, but many. Let me know if you agree upon this or if you have other thoughts and experiences. I also enjoyed coming back sniping, as you can see here in the video, using the Lee Enfield sniper that I hope will be implemented in Call of Duty Vanguard as well later down the line. But one thing that many players complained about when it comes to World War II and the multiplayer is the fact that the grind is very tough and it takes like ages to make some significant progress. Also, lack of content when it comes to more and new maps being added is something that some guys have mentioned. The game was released with 9 maps and 3 war maps, and some players also didn't like that you're forced to get into this headquarters to get your daily orders and open supply crates, etc. But how is it though when it comes to people playing World War II in 2022 and player count? Well, it was pretty easy to get into a shipment game, which was kind of expected. Also, Team Deathmatch works pretty well in the normal matchmaking system. I also managed to get into a domination game as seen in the video. I do think that was because I played later in the afternoon, my time. It seems to be around 300 players a day, and it also looks as if there's been a small increase of players in the last month, probably due to Call of Duty Vanguard, I guess. So how is World War II doing in 2022? Well, it's still live and kicking, but I can't help myself comparing both World War II and Vanguard to Call of Duty World at War, a classic game that I was lucky to play at its prime, being one of my favorite Call of Duty games of all time. That game is still, in my opinion, better in all areas compared to these World War II Sledgehammer game titles, and even though the game is now 14 years old, being released in 2008, it still has more than double the player count compared to World War II. But now is now, and this is what we have. And once again, I have had a good time coming back playing this game to check it out in a better state of mind, I would say, both when it comes to the game itself. The devs got more time to actually fix it to the better, and also for me, I have a better rig now. I could play with high settings. I have actually tweaked the graphics a bit for you here also when it comes to NVIDIA settings and so forth. So yeah, it looks good. It did play pretty well. I had no performance issues, I would say. And I would love to hear from you, of course, what you think as well. Was this your favorite Call of Duty game? What did you think about it overall? Let me know in the comments. And if you're new to my channel and if you like these kind of videos and gameplay, make sure to subscribe. It's free here on YouTube, and you can therefore also support me as a content creator. Now, friends, have a beautiful day, game on, and take care. Talk to you later. Over and out.